Hello, hello. Yes, we are back again today with the latest episode in our Team Lotus F1 Manager series as we head to Canada in this one. And I'd say the first quarter, coming up to the first third of this season, is completed. And it's been pretty damn good for us so far, hasn't it? Near enough a 1-2 in every race, apart from Jeddah, where we got a 1-3. Last time out, we went back into the database editor, plus the AI have been upgrading their cars, and it does show that we are not now the fastest car on the grid. Far from it, actually. I think we were showing was at 6th or 7th. But somehow, even with that performance deficit, we still managed to pick up another 1-2 in Miami. It was a wet race, and I think we just managed it well. I don't think we necessarily had the pace. Yuki Tsunoda, by far, should have won that race. But RB made a terrible call in terms of their strategy, keeping him out on the inters. And that just wrecked Yuki's chance. So we got a bit lucky there. And we'll see as we head to Canada how we are looking. But in terms of just an update, constructors, again, we extend our lead because of that. We're up to 289. So it's looking very good on that front. We're nearly 200 points in front in the Constructors. And Drivers' Championship, it was Alonso that took the victory, so he gained 6 points on Danny Rick, so stays in contention for the Drivers' Championship. But Yuki Tsunoda is hanging about there, so if that RB is the fastest car on the grid, or if they can improve it to be, then Yuki, not only in with a chance of winning races, perhaps becoming world champion. So let's see. But we are heading to Canada in 11 days' time. If you're here for the first time, you like what you see, or you're returning, you're not yet already, please do subscribe to the channel. If you do like the content, please do smash that like button. It really does help me out and is super appreciated. And as always, get involved down below in the comments. But let's crack on then as we head to Canada in this one. And our latest upgrades completed. We've upgraded the hospitality area to level 3. That was in need of refurbishments. Rather than refurbish, we have decided to upgrade. Okay, we've arrived at Montreal then and time to begin practice. But before we do that, a couple of things to look at. First is the car parts development. So these are all the designs we've got underway. Unfortunately, none completed for this race. We do have an underfloor in 3 days' time. We may be able to manufacture one of those for Imola. Imola, the Friday practice session starts a week today, so we might be able to get an underfloor. Suspension in 6 days, but if not, it's probably looking likely to be Monte Carlo where we get those done, because looking at this, yeah, Imola is next week, and then we've got 2 weeks. So yeah, we should have at least 2 new designs once we get to Monaco. The other thing I want to have a quick look at before we jump into practice is that car analysis, just to see where we're at. And there you go. You can see the dramatic change from where we were at the start of the season. So we certainly need these designs on the car. The minute on average there, with cornering being king on the game, I'd say we're probably 4th fastest car on average, 4th to 5th fastest car on average. So we really shouldn't be contending for a win or podium in Canada. It should really be somewhere between 6th to 10th, but we shall see how we go in this one. That Canada is a normal race weekend, but Imola that comes next is going to be a sprint weekend. But with that said, let's jump in then, set our race targets, and get underway with practice in Canada. Wow, look at this. We'll go 18th or higher with Danny Rick. I'm still not sure why these are so low, but 18th or higher with both as we start practice then. Practice underway then as we chase down 100% setups in Canada. Got a VSC. It looks like Gasly has retired here.
Okay.
He had a mechanical issue. So yes, I'm assuming that has become terminal.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yes, the engine's gone.
Way to bow out of this one.
The Audi man. And he has to retire out on track here in this first practice session. Got another virtual safety car, this time in practice 3. And it looks like Joe has lost it somewhere. We are going to get a replay. And you up to here in the Alpine. Wet weather in this third and final practice session. Oh, big block up. And straight into the wall. Guan Yu's after some new pants. Okay, practice in Canada completed. And Fernando Alonso absolutely smashing it. Perfect scores all the way. 100% track acclimatization, 100% car parts knowledge, 100% setup satisfaction. So he is set up perfectly with 100% drive preparation. Danny Rick has 100% drive preparation as well, but not perfect scores across the board. Did get 100% on track acclimatization. Car parts knowledge. I don't know if this is a bug, but we don't seem to be getting this up very quickly, but we'll keep monitoring that. And setup satisfaction is 99%, so 1% off that perfect setup. But both pretty well set up as we head to qualifying next. And judging by that car analysis, can we make it through to Q3? Can we make it through to Q2? Let's find out. Okay, qualifying underway. It is going to dry out right at the end of the session, so we will get a time just set on these inters, just in case it gets red flagged, the session moves on, and it might get even wetter, but I think it's going to be dry at the end here. Okay, weirdly enough, everyone's gone out and set a lap now on inters. The track has come down in dampness since we set a lap, but it looked like the AI were just waiting for the dry weather, but they haven't. They have now set a lap. Is this going to dry out in time for softs? It should do. Yes, it is going to. Are we going to get that bug where the AI just don't go back out? Because it looks like they're not. But we should, unless we make a mistake, be safely through here because AI are not going out. This does happen on the game for some reason when the weather changes. But there we go. 1-2 there as we cross the line. Only drive to set a time on on dry compound tyres, so we are safely through. Any surprises down here? Not really in truth. Let's go to Q2. Okay, Q2, and the dampness is going to reduce again, but not as much as Q1, so I don't think it's going to get dry. So again, we'll set a lap early. And Alonso has locked up, so we're going to have to abandon that lap.
Action at turn 10.
Following his teammate, Danny Rick.
Struggling with the car. They took a gamble, and it was just too late.
He did that in Japan, went into the back of his teammate, and nearly done it there. We've abandoned that lap. Ricciardo sets his lap. Okay, our drivers are out. So we look to set our laps, and we are checkered flagged, and we are 6th and 7th. So safely through again. The AI not going out again. We're getting a bit lucky, I feel, in this session. Yuki Tsunoda setting the pace, though. And what's happened? Valtteri Bottas is out in Q2, as is Oscar Piastri. 2 Ferraris, 1 Mercedes, 2 Lotuses, 2 Red Bulls, 2 RBs, and a McLaren. Then make it through to Q3. See what we can do in this top 10 shootout. Here we go then, underway. First flying lap in Q3, on board with Fernando Alonso. We're not on board, but we're looking at Fernando Alonso, but we can go on board if we choose to. And there we go with Fernando. Let's see how we go in comparison to our teammate. We are the first 2 drivers down the road, so we will be setting purples and greens to begin with. But I don't think we've got a chance of pole here. Let's have a look though. 21.5. Very closely matched. 300ths of a second in it in that first sector. Alonso obviously got the win last time out in Miami, and if he wants a chance of the Drivers' Championship, he's got to keep trying to beat Danny Rick. Long way to go, though. Anything can happen in this Drivers' Championship. And Alonso, 21.9 middle, 21.8. So I think Danny Rick is probably just under a 10th of a second ahead of Alonso at the moment. Purple sectors have been snatched away, so those behind us are going quicker. That's to be expected from what the car analysis is showing. Alonso got to keep out of the wall of champions, and we'll see what time we set then. On this first lap, Alonso across the line. And he does a 1:11.8. Does Ricciardo beat it? He does. And it was by just 300ths of a second, so very close between our 2 drivers in that first run. But Verstappen goes quicker, Leclerc does not, Tsunoda goes quicker.
Currently P3.
Okay, we have gone out for another run. There was a little bit of rain mid-session, so it may not be quicker, but we'll wait and see what these sectors are saying. At the moment, we will start P8, P9. Although Alonso and Ricciardo do go green through that first sector. And they're not far off Hamilton and Russell. A couple attempts to Norris. So we might be able to gain a couple of positions here. Let's wait and see. And it was a 21.4 for Alonso, 21.4 for Ricciardo. That's what we saw in the first sector. A little bit ahead for Alonso by about 800ths of a second. 21.8 middle, 21.8 middle for Ricciardo. But Ricciardo's not gone quicker. But Alonso has. I think this is looking similar to Ricciardo's time. It's very close to Hamilton and Russell here. We need a green final sector, and we might jump ourselves up to 6th and 7th here in Canada. Let's wait and see as Alonso heads to the line. What's it going to be then as we cross to the finish line? Does improve to 6th. What about Ricciardo? Ricciardo doesn't do enough. I think he's slightly improved. But Alonso set a very good time in the end then. to jump Hamilton and Russell and get close to Norris. And here we have it. It's Red Bull domination with Red Bull and the sister team RB. Look at that. Sainz on pole. Verstappen is second. And Yuki Tsunoda third. Nico Hülkenberg fourth. Lando Norris fifth. Alonso with a good time in the end to get to sixth. Russell seventh. Hamilton eighth. Danny Rick ninth. And Leclerc rounds out the top 10. So I think this is really showing now the performance is accurate. We're not the fastest car on the grid now. We are very much having to fight in the points, and we've got to upgrade this car to get back to the podium and wins. Although we've still got a good chance of a podium and potentially a win. That's what we did in Miami. We needed a bit of luck. But I think these RBs, especially, and maybe Red Bull today, looking very good for the race. But let's set some strategy and jump into that race. Okay, it's going to be a wet race, as we can see. Let us just have a look at the track graph. Okay, so it's going to start probably inters, but only for about 4 or 5 laps. So it's not worth, in my opinion, starting on the inters. It is going to be very wet. Very wet again until about lap 26, 27. It's going to reduce probably again to inters for a spell of around about 6 laps. And then it's going to be wet all the way. So, yeah, let's have a look. I think just wets is the way to go. Maybe lap 30 is the time to change, though, because when it drops, these wets will burn up a little bit when they're struggling to get water on the tyres. So, I mean, something like that could work. Let's also just have a look at... You could just go wet. Just a no stop. It says this is, you know, quite a bit quicker, though, the 2-stop. So I think we'll go with that. What is it saying for... It's asking Alonso to bolt on some inters. Can't see that working somehow. I think it's wets. Wet. I think when that not dry spell, but it's going to be less wet, so these tyres are going to start to degrade. That's the time to change them, really. Saying the inter to wet is a lot quicker. I see that. Should we split the strategy? Let's split the strategy. Let's go with it. My gut feeling is that's not really going to work, but these wets will last the entire race. We'll probably go on standard during that spell. So the spell I'm talking about here, at the start, Danny Rick on the wets, they are going to burn up a little bit. As you can see, it's not too wet. Here, we're on to full wets, really. So from lap 7, probably. I reckon lap 7, 8 is the crossover to wets. So we might have to bring that in a little bit earlier. Wets are going to be fine, until we get to a lap about 22 to 25. Somewhere there, it's going to cross back over to inters for about 5, 6, 7 laps. Then it's going to be wets all the way. It's just whether this spell, because he's going to bolt these on from lap 10, we just got to manage the wet through that sort of 5 to 10 lap spell. So we'll probably have to go light there, and then should be enough. So let's go for it. Let's mix up a bit and split the strategy then as we jump in to this Canadian Grand Prix. It's Fernando Alonso in 6th, starting on the inters. Early stop onto the full wets, and then no stops from there. Danny Rick going for a 2-stopper, wets, and then wets again as we begin this Canadian Grand Prix. It's a Red Bull 1-2, and it's a sister team, RB 3-4.
And it's lights out, and away we go.
So there we go, Sainz underway from pole, Verstappen second, Tsunoda third, Hülkenberg fourth, and Danny Rick and Alonso moving up a position each there, looks like. Alonso's got Norris on the outside. And he is through up to P5 then. Good start from Fernando. He's obviously on those inters, so the inters should be good in the early phases here. So he's got to use all of that tyre life, really, while he can. And already, look at this, much better grip than Hülkenberg. Is everyone on the wets? No. Albon, Lawson and Teo Pourchaire have joined us on the inters.
We need some update on track conditions, please.
But Alonso making good strides then on these inters early on, up to P4 just about. Yes, I'm very well, Lucas, thank you. Very well indeed.
Okay, good job. Currently P7.
And Ricciardo's got past Russell as well, so Ricciardo moves up to P7. So we jump on board. And there is George. So Alonso's probably got about 5 laps of this tyre life before he needs to box, so he's got to make use of it. Atty, hello buddy, the Flying Finn, how you doing? And Alonso, keep it out of the wall of champions. He does, he's passed Yuki Tsunoda then into P3.
Looking good at the moment.
So Alonso making a great start in this one. These are the tyres to be on right now, but as I say, they're not going to be the tyres to be on for very long.
Yes.
And there we go, Fernando gets past Yuki Tsunoda then into P3. Sainz sets the fastest lap. I'd imagine Alonso would this lap, unless he gets caught up behind the 2 Red Bulls. And yeah, as we see, from lap 4-5, that rain is really going to increase, and that's when Alonso's going to have to box for some wets. But he's already pulled 1.1 second on Tsunoda, so these tyres are much quicker at the moment. And here he goes already on Max Verstappen. Max is going to force him out wide there, but Alonso should have much better grip. And Fernando surely is going to move up into P2. Max doesn't want to let it go, but he's going to have to. And Alonso up to P2 and gets after Carlos Sainz then. Going very well. Good to hear, Atty. Good to hear, buddy.
You're doing a good job. Okay, so currently P6.
And with the shh. Thanks for the follow. We've got a yellow flag. Gasly and Lawson look like they've come together. Ah, got a safety car. That is not good.
Safety car deployed.
That is awful news.
Dash positive. Copy.
He's going to have to box now. That's absolutely ruined Fernando's strategy.
Formation lap procedure.
So all of his good work undone. Gasly and Lawson are out. We're not going to get a replay of it, unfortunately, there. Looks like... Who was it? Lawson and Gasly have collided. Ah, that has absolutely wrecked Alonso's strategy there. Not good for Fernando then.
A lot of debris.
Right, let us just get back into our strategy here then. So Fernando, that was looking so good for Fernando. Right, safety car finally ending then.
Okay, so the safety car is in this lap. Okay, remember the rules of engagements again. Copy.
And you can pick up the pace.
You can reduce management.
No more lift-off requires.
Right, here we go. Getting ready for this safety car restart. Look, standing Rick's tyres down to 75%, and that's because we've been in that spell where it's not been wet enough for wets. Alonso's already lost 11%, so he may well have to box again, Alonso, because we had to come in a lot earlier than we were expecting. Here we go then. It's going to be Carlos Sainz to get us back underway. Fittipaldi's got a mechanical fault. Down for London. Thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Hope you're well. Right, Ricciardo is up to P5 though. So that's been a good start from him. What is it, P9? We started to forget where we started now. Maxson's had a lock-up early on here. Is that even before we got back underway? Classic from K-Mag.
Well, you can see the lock-up. Well, the track's condition is making things an awful lot harder out there for our drivers.
Well, I don't know where that lock-up was. Spot the lock-up. Anyway, Ricciardo P5 then, behind the 2 Red Bulls and assist team RB, who are very pacey in this 2026 season that we're in. And has he got the pace to stay with them?
So pick up the pace. Pick up the pace.
Alonso, we're going to have to go aggressive on the overtakes now, because he's bogged down in 15th.
Okay, copy.
So down to 20 runners though, with Gasly and Lawson out. Our ex-teammate, of course, Lawson. Not doing too well for Alpine. How will he do in real life in Red Bull? Not long to go now, is it? As Alonso is past show.
Here we are down at turn 7. The opportunity's there.
And there we go. Good move from Fernando. And we just saw the tail end of
Right,
that.
we're
So
taking the second corner. It's certainly inviting.
there we go. Good move from Fernando. Right, how far up can Fernando Alonso get here? Albon stayed out on the inters. He's going to be struggling. He is struggling. He's already nearly 2 seconds off Bottas. So Piastri needs to be getting past Albon here very quickly. And then Alonso needs to do the same. Switches from the outside to the inside. Should be able to be much later on the brakes. And we are. Albon tries to fight it though. But I think this should be job done. He's going to struggle any traction on those inters. I'm surprised he's not boxing, but he's trying to see it out. I don't know what he's waiting for because any let up in the weather is a long way away.
Okay, well done.
Right, Alonso up to P12 then.
Piastri ahead.
So yeah, we'll probably get back to inters around about lap 20, 21. So unless Albon's seeing it out till then, but he's going to be so slow until that point, it wouldn't be worth it really. Could go all the way to the end, and although this says he can go all the way at the end attacking, that will change when we get here because the tyre temps will just burn up. So we're just reserving them for a bit, but I am thinking we could try something a little bit bold with Fernando. When is that? Around about lap 24. About lap 32. Or I think he's definitely going to have to stop again. Says this would be a lot quicker. I'm interested. I'm interested in it. It may not work, but he's P12. You viewed with a super sticker, thanks, buddy. Much appreciated. As I say, not required at all, but that is highly appreciated. Thank you, buddy. I'm interested in this. I am interested in switching over to this Inter, which would be lap 24, but it's dependent on the weather. .2.1, we take that for Fernando Alonso.
White line on the
I
exit.
did put him on inters there. I just had my heart just flooded there, and I thought I put him back on wets. License was only. I think the license originally was for 4 years. New games. So it should have been 22, 23, 24, and then the final one 25. There's Alonso just out behind Guan Yu Zhou there. Here comes Fernando, though, on Zhou. Zhou in the Alpine here in 2026. Zhou doesn't want to give this up, but we should have better traction out there on the Inters. Although, saying that, come on, later breaking into our tyres aren't quite up to temp, to be fair. But we should get this done now. And there we go, through on Zhou. What happened to Lawson and Gasly? Gasly went straight in the back of Lawson. And both retired on lap 3? Lap 2 or 3, I believe it was. Right, now Alonso needs to use his pace. A bit like the start of the race. He's only got about... It's got a little bit longer, but he's probably got about 8 laps of this tyre. So let's see how far up he can get. Once he clears Perez, he's got 4 seconds, so we'll see what his pace is like. NSI often buff mixed developments so AI teams use him. As in the database editor. Not a bad shout. I did that last year in 2023 with Piastri because they absolutely did him dirty in 2023 for some reason. As Alonso. See Alonso get past Perez then. Light work of Perez. Now, as we say, he's got a 4-second gap. So we'll see what his pace is like on these Inters.
Let's go.
I'm going to do the same with Ricciardo here. Call me crazy, but Ricciardo's tyres are absolutely done for.
Box.
Box confirmed.
As Alonso's nearly already, and if he's going 2 seconds lap quicker, Ricciardo could gain nearly 16 seconds here. Problem is we box now for wets, which he has to. They'll burn out again too early, so we're kind of forced into this with Ricciardo.
Take it easy in the pit entry.
So Alonso past Ocon, as we just saw, but Ricciardo is going to try these inters. There's a 2.4 second stop for Danny Rick.
Focus on reaction time and no full throttle before pit exit.
He kind of needs to be out in front of his teammate here. You do cut the first corner here, so he should be comfortably out in front of Fernando. There's Ricciardo, there's Fernando. So yeah, Ricciardo will have... Although he's got to get these tyres up to temp.
Currently
Yeah, he
11.
should be okay.
And in front of you is Bottas. 8 seconds, 8 seconds.
No, I'm going to ask him to get out of the way of Alonso here. If Alonso, because Alonso's going to... His tyres are much better up to speed here. Leclerc's mechanical fault getting worse.
Yep.
Where are we? There we are. Is the rainfall now going to start again?
Currently P10. Car ahead is Leclerc.
And there we go, straight past Bottas.
0.4.
These teams now struggling, the Mercedes and the Ferrari on the wet tyres. Look at this was easy work. Past Bottas there, and Ricciardo's got past him as well. So come on, what can we do on these inters? We've not got long left on them. Need to get past Leclerc here, and then it's 4 seconds up the road to Piastri. Here we go, we're pulling out to the outside. Much better traction at the moment on those inters. Ricciardo's going to try the inside. This is like Mick Schumacher. We talked about Mick Schumacher, Mike Schumacher and Hakkinen at Spa there. But it wasn't a back marker. That was for track position. As Russell pits now, he'll surely go onto the wets. It's too late to go to the... Look how much they're burning up their tyres, these wet runners, though. Hamilton, Piastri, next on the road. They're going to be very, very slow. Leclerc's got a puncture. Charles Leclerc's got a puncture. He's left it too late on those wets. And there we go. Right rear is gone. I'm going to ask Alonso get out of the way because that's only fair because Danny Rick did have track position. He's not quite got out of the way yet. Come on, Fernando, a bit quicker than that. There we go. Right, Sainz pits. Norris pits.
Tires are on the higher side.
Yeah, Russell did go wet. So Leclerc's made it back to the pits. Sainz, here we go. They're all boxing. Hamilton, 23%. Piastri, 24%. What are they doing? Ricciardo's past Sainz, but Alonso is stuck behind him here.
You're doing a very good job.
He needs to get past him here.
Next car is Piastri.
Ricciardo's past him. Alonso is now going to be past him. The Inters are the better tyre at the moment. They probably will be for another lap or two.
Yes, let's go.
This is really good.
Ricciardo's past Piastri, whose their tyres are just completely dead. Piastri, 22%. Hamilton's about to get a puncture. Unless he's very lucky, like his teammate Leclerc did. Piastri's trying a move back on Alonso. That's not ideal. Fernando should have much better traction, though. Tsunoda pits.
Good job. Come on.
Nicely done. The car ahead is Hamilton.
Hamilton finally pits. So does Piastri. Can Alonso go for one more lap? Bottas has got a puncture.
So box and pick and pack.
There we go. There's Valtteri with a puncture now. They're all struggling out there. All right, Ricciardo's going to box. Alonso's going to try one more lap. He'll probably lose a little bit of time, but he was going to lose 3 seconds there in a double stack. 2.1, good stop from the Team Lotus pit crew.
Reminder, throttle on pit exit.
Where do we come out after all of that then in the end? Norris, who we were fighting, is going to be clear of us here. We should jump back past Russell. Hulkenberg still hasn't stopped.
P7.
And Russell's got his tyres up to
In
10.
front of you is Norris.
So we kind of haven't gained, kind of haven't lost in a way there, Ricciardo. Potentially, well, we did lose on Lando, but we were forced into that because our tyres would have burnt up anyway. And we would have been in the same scenario as those guys, getting punctures. Do some deployment here with Ricciardo.
Click overtake.
Hulkenberg still hasn't stopped. Ricciardo should jump Hulkenberg now, though. Alonso, the Inter's still working well, to be fair, across this lap. So he may even be ahead of his teammate here. I'm not sure. We'll see. But Fernando was P12, so it's really, if this has worked for Fernando, I don't think it's really... Hulkenberg's carried on.
At pit lane entry, could be slippery.
Copy.
2.1 again. The pit crew have been on it. Be careful with your last set of full wets. We will indeed. Right, so Alonso is P12 before he jumped onto those Inters. He's definitely going to gain some positions here. Alonso might be ahead of his teammate, but for not too long here. I think we've got them on still do not fight as well. No, we haven't. We've got it off, so that's fine. They are free to fight.
Norris ahead. Gap is 5 seconds.
There we go then. So, Ricciardo was P5 before we went on to those Inters. He's currently P6, but he will jump Hulkenberg, so he will still be a net P5, but he did lose out to Norris. So, when it's all said and done, Ricciardo hasn't lost anything, he hasn't gained anything, but Alonso has gained 5 positions, probably 6, when Hulkenberg pits. So that has worked wonders for Fernando Alonso there. Hulkenberg's been overtaken on track, and he's still not stopped. Hulkenberg is just not willing to stop at the moment, is he? Hey there, and Hulkenberg still has not boxed. He's on 23% tyres. I don't know what he's doing, but he's enjoying himself out there.
Head back down, we stay in the rhythm.
And also, I wasn't paying attention, and Verstappen's issue is obviously causing him a lot of issues because he's now dropped down. Tsunoda's passed him, Norris has passed him, and we are now here with him. So bear with me, chat. We'll get back to it in a moment. But here we go. Danny, oh, goodness gracious me. That is very timid and slow through there. But we're past Max. And here we go. Rain is decreasing. This way we just need to be mindful of the tyres. Probably want to go standard here.
Norris in front of you. And try to cool down the tyres where you can. It's slightly coming up.
Understood.
Alonso's tyre's not too bad at the moment, so we can just continue with that. So Ricciardo back up to P5. That will be P4 when Hulkenberg finally stops. Maybe Hulkenberg will never stop in this race.
Max coming now.
Does anyone know what's going on with Hulkenberg here? He's down to 23%. I'm not quite sure. The only thing I think that he's waiting for this period here. But beyond me, that is. Beyond me. Alonso soon to join this party. When's your next scheduled live stream? Every Tuesday and Friday, Noob Games. So we'll be back Friday from 7 PM. So every Tuesday and Friday we're doing this. Lucas, he would probably go to Aston because they have Nui, Fernando, Honda, and have a brand new factory. Well, if Max went to Aston though, Lucas, would they have Fernando's? Ricciardo is getting past Hulkenberg. So Hulkenberg on those struggling tyres. We are finally through and into P4.
Okay?
Let's have a look at that. Here we go then. Ricciardo, Hulkenberg still out on those tyres, down to 23%. And pretty easy work in the end. I'd imagine Max and Fernando are going to be past him very quickly as well. Here we go. So Hulkenberg staying out for another lap. And it's just easy work for Fernando there. I'm not quite sure what Hulkenberg's trying to achieve, but maybe we're all naive to it. As Hulkenberg is in the pits. Oh, he's having a slow stop to round it all off. Poor Nico Hulkenberg. He's gone on some fresh wets. And he's going to be out in P10. So I don't quite get that strategy from RB. But maybe they know what they're doing and we haven't got a clue. So let's wait and see on that. But he's only got 9% extra tyre life. And I would suggest the amount of time he lost doing that
1 second.
was not optimal.
Don't stress.
And Alonso alongside then as the camera pulls away, Max Verstappen, and we move into P5 then, Fernando, but Max is not going to give it up. Of course he's not.
Yes. Keep at it.
But yes, Alonso gets it done then, so P4 and P5, but I think Max will come back at us. He's managing his tyres. Russell, Piastri and Hamilton certainly not managing their tyres. Just need this wet weather to come back in. Right, 2 laps to go. Norris all over the back of Sainz.
Yep, understood.
Alonso looks like he's going to be too far back here. 3.8. So Alonso looks like he's going to finish P5. Can Ricciardo get on the podium here? This is for P2, let alone P3. But Norris really needs to clear Sainz.
On in front of you is Norris. Head down.
Tsunoda's got a lap and a half to go to win this Canadian Grand Prix. Ricciardo's 2 tenths behind Norris. He's having a look. He's in the slipstream, but he doesn't look too close enough, or is he? No, has a little bit of a look there. Needs some good deployment out of here, because he was slow coming out of there.
Overtake available.
Ricciardo, good deployment. He's alongside Lando Norris here. Here we go, better angle. Can we out-drag him? Into this chicane. We've got to get through this chicane, through the wall of champions. Oh, we're much later on the brakes. Where are we? Lando has a double stab at it, but Ricciardo is through. And we're into P3.
Okay,
Sainz has managed to pull
1 more.
1.6 seconds there, so Sainz might be safe in P2 in the end. What can Ricciardo do? He's fighting Lando there. I'm trying to save a bit of battery for that straight. I don't want to deploy it all in the hopes of getting Sainz and leave ourselves vulnerable to Lando Norris, who's all over the back of us.
Directly behind you.
Sainz is going to get away with it, I think. It's all about whether we can fend off Lando here. Lando is getting very aggressive. Gotta hope Lando's using a lot of his battery there, and we can use some
Norris behind you.
out of this corner here onto the long back straight. This is where we want to deploy. Yuki Tsunoda is going to win it. Sainz is going to survive, but can Ricciardo hold on to P3? We've used a lot of battery there. Lando is slightly gaining. It doesn't look like he's gaining enough though. Danny Rick looking good as Yuki Tsunoda is about to come across the line. Yuki is going to win in Canada. It's going to be Sainz P2. And Daniel Ricciardo is going to hold off Lando Norris, who claim yet another podium. He's not been off the podium this year. Look at that. It's Yuki Tsunoda, who is a race winner in Formula 1. It's P3 for Ricciardo and P5 from Alonso. Good recovery from Alonso. He's down in P12 after that first stint and managed to come back to P5. So we will take that. P3 and P5. But it is a win for Yuki Tsunoda. There he is. Yuki on the top step. Yuki wins in Canada then.
Plenty of smiles for the cameras as the drivers can let off some steam
RB
here in Montreal.
beat their big brother of a team, Red Bull, here today. There we have the confirmation. Yuki Tsunoda wins up 2 to win the race. Carlos Sainz second. Danny Rick up 6 places. A good drive from Danny Rick to finish on the podium. Lando Norris 4th. Fernando up 1 to finish 5th. Good drive from Oscar Piastri, who finishes in 6th, up 7 places. Max Verstappen struggled with that issue in the end, drops 5 to 7th. Lewis Hamilton finished where he starts in 8th. George Russell 9th. And we had no idea what was going on with Hülkenberg's strategy there. He finishes P10. And out of the points, Bottas and Leclerc there. So not great drives for them. Let's have a look at the drivers then. So Danny Rick takes 15 points. But as we said, the grid will now be coming back at us. So Ricciardo extends his lead on his teammate Fernando Alonso by 5 points. So the gap is 26 points. But these behind us are starting to gain. So Yuki Tsunoda now on 99 points. Is there a chance Yuki Tsunoda can mount a Drivers' Championship battle with Ricciardo and Alonso this year? And then good performance from the Red Bulls. McLarens are coming at us as well. So lots to see how this season's going to go. But it's Ricciardo that leads it. Fernando Alonso 2nd. Yuki's 3rd. Carlos Sainz 4th. Piastri 5th. Max is 6th. Lando Norris has jumped 2 places today. He's up to 7th. Hamilton 8th. Leclerc is 9th. And Hülkenberg rounds out the top 10. Rest of those who have scored so far, Bottas in 11th. George Russell gets another 2 today. He's in 12th. Then we've got Perez, Albon and Ocon. The rest are yet to score. And then Constructors. Still a good day for us. It was very close in the Constructors, wasn't it? What's that? 5 points between 4 teams there. So RB do the best with 26. Team Lotus get 25. Red Bull 24 and McLaren 21. So quite evenly matched on the Constructors. We still lead by quite a margin on that. RB a 2nd. Red Bull 3rd. McLaren jump Ferrari into 4th. Ferrari a 5th. Mercedes 6th. Williams a 7th. Aston Martin 8th. And which is now Audi, Alpine and Haas are yet to score. I feel we had a good few pit stops in here today, and we did. 27 points. This should be doing wonders for us. Oh, up to 7th. Now that is the highest we've ever been in the fastest pit stop competition in our 3 years so far of Team Lotus. So who knows how high we can get in this. So that's good progress in the pit stops. That is going to bring this one to a close. And as I say, if you dropped in and you haven't already, you did like the stream, please do smash that like button. Really does help me out.